Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Gears 12, and today I have a brand new album review for you guys today. Today I'm reviewing the brand new album from Battlecross entitled War of Will. This band was actually introduced to me by another metal reviewer named Shadowblade9209, link in the description. And I was just excited to see what this band could bring to the table because I've heard some of their previous stuff, because when he's like, hey, check out this song, check out this song. And so I was impressed by some of their older stuff, but I was excited to see what can happen a little bit later down the road. So let's see what happens. So if you don't know the band Battlecross, they are a mix between melodic death metal and thrash metal. And as I like to call it, melodic thrash metal, because that's exactly what we got on this album. That's what I heard throughout the whole entire album, and that was my first thought, was that, in my personal opinion, this is a perfect mixture of thrash metal and melodic death metal. I love both these types of genres, and it was just amazing to hear this kind of new band to bring both those genres to the table in this album. And like I said, it feels like a perfect mixture because some tracks had more of the elements that were thrash metal. Then some of the other tracks on the album had more of the elements of melodic death metal. And then there's some tracks that actually have both thrash and melodic death metal and collided them and combined them into certain tracks and really made me go, I can't really decide which genre it's really more going towards. And so I like that there's some songs that are more thrash elemented, melodic death metal elemented, and then the songs that have both worlds into one, that basically just give me both of the things that I like in those different genres of metal. And so that was really cool. And just the sound and just how aggressive the songs are, and maybe how some melodic of some of the songs are, it just really gave me an awesome vibe. I'm really impressed by this music. It really showed me that this new band is starting off really high and they're continuing to push themselves, because some of the songs in this album are impressive. They're technical, they're aggressive, they're in your face, and it shows that this band is trying to push the limits, because when you hear new bands coming around, like they're going to try to start out strong, but maybe as they continue on to put out new albums that they're continuing to get better. But this band wrote some insane material in this album that I'm going, what is the next album going to be? I'm already anticipating the next one before I'm even done with the review of this one. It really showed me that this band is capable of writing some intense, crazy stuff, and also the melodic, peaceful, backing off kind of just, mellowing out type stuff. And it's awesome that I get both sides of that on this album. I did write some notes down, and there were some songs and some of the sections and songs that I did want to talk about in this review, because it really showed some different sides in this album, and these are some of the things that really stood out to me musically from these songs. So the opening riff, which is the opener of the album, which is Force-Fed Lies, that riff, that thrash sounding riff, made me go, wow, because it's the first thing you hear. You hit play, the first track, bam, you get slammed with a really aggressive thrash riff, and it continues on, and you're just sitting there listening to this epic track that's pushing the limits and punching you in the face and making you go, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? This is aggressive. Wow. So if you love aggressive thrash metal, that track's going to blow your mind. The next song I wrote down I want to talk about was Ghost Alive, and this had a classic thrash sounding riff opening the song, and it made me remind me of stuff that thrash metal bands back in the 80s were writing, and this riff just sounds very classic, and it really pulled me in going, wow. And then that song just really just pushed away through, and it was really awesome to listen to that track. But that opening riff really caught my attention, listening to it going, wait, what was that? And I had to repeat back and go, oh, that sounds really classic sounding. That's cool. The next song is Get Over It, epic guitar melody ending, and yes, that song had an amazing ending. The song was aggressive up to a certain point, and then we get too close to the ending, and it goes off into this really epic melodic guitar sounding thing, and the drums are going hectic and going crazy, and then it was just like, wow, and it gets more melodic, and then there's the chord riff that's going behind the melody, it's getting closer to the end, and it was just really awesome to listen to it, because it was a nice change up from some of the other stuff in that song that was going on that was getting hectic and crazy. So it was really nice to switch it up there. Beast, which if you can tell by that track name, yes, it is a heavy, aggressive track. Some of the riffs were very pulled back and just heavy crunchers, and then other parts of the song was just blistering alternate picking riffs, going crazy all over the frets, and just the drums are blast beating away and going just crazy. And just by the name of the title, Beast, you knew what you were getting. Wage of War, sorry. And I wrote that down because even though it's not that long, but the opener of that was just so epic. It had the mixture of the heavy chords, of the distorted riffs, overlaying basically what was happening behind it, which was, if you could barely hear it, but if you really pay attention, you can hear a little clean guitar riff that's really going behind it, and it was just really awesome to listen to. And even though it's not that long, I kept repeating it because it was just so catching and entertaining. So let's go to the sound of the band. Now, I would go to the vocals first like I always do, but I have to talk about this, and I have not mentioned it, and I'm stupid for not mentioning it now. But Shannon Lucas, the former drummer of the Black Dahlia Murder, played session drums on this album. And for the first 2 full listens of this album, I did not know he was playing on this album until I just happened to look up more information about the band and all that, and then I read it, and I'm like, what? I guess like for the first 2 listens, I'm listening to this drummer going, who is this guy? This guy is crazy. And then finding out it's Shannon Lucas, and then I go and listen to the album 2 more times again, making sure that I catch everything on the album, that every time that I would listen to it before I found out it was him, I'm catching all these things after finding out going, exactly, that's what Shannon would do. Yeah, that drum opener of that track, yep, he would do that. Those blast beats with the double bassing, that's just godly, really, basically. Yep, that's him. Yeah, so Shannon Lucas did an amazing job. The drum sound is what you'd expect from a thrash metal, melodic death metal band. His drums are aggressive, and it's Shannon Lucas. What do you expect? He is just a monster on drums, and he did an amazing job. He really made this band sound more epic. Now, they do have another guy that's performing with them now, that's now the drummer, but big props to Shannon Lucas. He really made all these aggressive songs and really just hectic, crazy, and melodic type songs and all over the place. You really made this album sound amazing. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you very much. Now let's go to the vocals. Let's talk about that now. Kyle on vocals. What was really cool is that he has a mixture of different growls. He has the really low growls, medium growls, high screams sometimes. But what was really cool is that some of the things that he says on this album, the way that his voice sounds. Now, don't take this out, I'm saying he's ripping these people off. I'm saying is some of the stuff that he says vocally and the way he makes his voice sounds like basically other vocalists from other bands. And I didn't take that as, oh, he was trying to steal it. Like, he just has a really unique voice. He has a lot of different stuff he can do with his vocals. And what was really cool is that, like I said, he sounds like some other vocalists sometimes. Like, at one point, he sounded like the vocalist from the band called Conducting from the Grave. And I didn't take that as he's trying to steal, like, what he was trying to do with his vocals. I'm thinking he just has a huge range, and he's doing a lot of different stuff to make the songs more interesting than the basic low growl the whole entire time. He's trying to make his voice and change it up. And it was kind of cool because if like, say, hypothetically, that there was other vocalists from other bands doing guest performances, you would probably hear it and go, what? wait, is that guy in here? And as we know, it's not, but big props to his vocals. It's really, really amazing. Lyrically, there was really good lyrical stuff in this, but overall, I just enjoyed the way his huge variety of vocals he was doing for this album. Now, Tony and Hiran, I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name. His name's in the description. But both of them on guitars, and that was my big love about this album on top of everything else. One of my biggest loves about this album is that the guitar work is intense. The rhythm section is just to die for. There's a lot of heavy crunching riffs. There's a lot of insane technical riffs. And then also when we get to the lead side, where it's basically the melodies and the lead guitar solos, the sound is just beautiful when it wants to be. And when it's shreddy and crazy on the solos, it's intense, insane. And then when we get to the melodies, that kind of maybe some of the melodies that are on this album that are beautiful, that the sound is just perfect. It fits right along with the rhythm section and the rhythm guitar. Just, it sounds like a thrash guitar tone. Also, sometimes a melodic death metal guitar tone. But overall, just the guitar sound and just the playing is amazing, epic to die for. All these other random words you can come up with that basically mean epic, then yes. So I loved every little bit of the guitar stuff. Don on bass. The bass was turned up on this album, and I always love that when bands turn up the bass player, and it was just really awesome to listen to the bass player playing some different stuff, Don playing some different stuff than what the guitars were doing to give the songs a little bit more something. But overall, some of the riffs on this album are just intense, so keeping up with that on bass, it's got to be some pretty hard work, but overall, I enjoyed what the bass player did and what Don did and all that. So big props to all the band members and Shannon Lucas. You really showed something here on this album. that made me kept listening to it over and over and over. Probably listening to it more than I should have for this album, but I just kept going back to songs and kept going back to certain sections and all that, but intense stuff. My final thoughts about this album is that if you love thrash metal and you love melodic death metal, then please check out Battlecross, check out War of Will, check out this album. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I mean, obviously there might be some people that probably won't enjoy this, but I think if you love thrash metal and you love melodic death metal, and if you love both those genres equally the same, and you just love every little thing about each one of them, then I think you're going to find something on this album you're going to enjoy, or you're going to find some songs you're going to enjoy. But overall, I think this album defines what this band is, and this band is what they are. Melodic death metal, thrash metal band that's bringing it to the table, that's going to keep pushing the limits, and is going to continue to keep pushing themselves further to put out more intense and more insane and more melodic styles of music and albums. So overall, I'm going to give this album a 9 out of 10. It really showed me something amazing. I'm so glad that my friend Shadowblade9209 introduced me to this band, or else I probably would not be reviewing this album if I wasn't introduced, because I don't recognize the name, so I'm glad that he did that. But, yeah, once again, guys, check it out. It's awesome. So, good job, Battlecross. You impressed me. I'm excited, and you have a new fan now. So, good job. Alright, guys, that's my review. Thank you guys for watching. If you like me and you like the video, like the video. And if you like me and you want to see more, subscribe or click my channel to see more of my material. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.